This is my patterns of inheritance slides. These cover the concepts that we learned over this past chapter. Between 1856 and 1863, Gregor Mendel, an Australian monk, grew and studied peas. By studying these pea plants and their genetic patterns, he came up with a set of laws called the 3 laws of inheritance. The first law is called the law of dominance. This law states that in a heterozygote, only the dominant allele will be expressed in the phenotype. This means that if we were to breed a dominant purebred long-stemmed pea plant, represented by a capital S, with a recessive purebred short-stemmed pea plant, represented by a lowercase s, the offspring would all be long-stemmed pea plants because the allele for long stems is dominant. The next law of inheritance is the law of segregation. This law states that allele pairs separate during gamete formation and randomly reunite at fertilization. As the homologous pairs separate during meiosis I and the sister chromatids separate during meiosis II, so do the allele pairs. When fertilization occurs, the new organism has 2 factors for each trait, one from each parent. The third and final law of inheritance is the law of independent assortment. This law states that alleles of 2 different genes get sorted into gametes independently of one another. This means that different traits have the same chance of being inherited separately of each other as they do being inherited together. Ken and his wife are about to have their first child. Ken is homozygous dominant for brown eyes, and his wife, Julia, has green eyes. Draw a Punnett square and write all possible phenotypes. Okay, so if we take a look at brown eyes, we'll see that the trait for brown eyes is dominant over the trait for green eyes, which is recessive. So we know that most likely Ken and his wife child, they're going to have brown eyes. So we got our Punnett square, and if we cross green eyes with brown eyes, we see that every single possible phenotype outcome is brown eyes. So the child will be heterozygous for brown eyes.